Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. That was a new video from Burst Films, man. They got a new video for us. A little more upbeat, a little shorter, a little more exciting, you know. But for right now, we want to welcome our special guest. You know him from Sins of the Fae. I want to welcome right now Xeviuss to the SKITS Fun House.
All right, man. Nice intro. Yeah, good to be here, man. Thanks for having me on. This could be
All
fun.
right, man.
I like your new teaser. I like the tune. I think you're a techno guy. I've seen all of them so far.
Well, you know, actually the type of stuff that I really like is stuff that I really shouldn't be playing because it's only certain people like that sort of stuff, and usually like upbeat techno, also hip hop style beats and stuff like that. That's the type of stuff that people really like. I think, you know, that it has more mass appeal. So that's the type of stuff that we've been using on it, you know. So
I dig it. Actually, it's a neat contrast because your stuff is very your stuff's very earthy. You got your sort of, you know, lots of warm tones and kind of, you know, if you had like a banjo going, that would make sense too. But when you contrast that with like a club beat, I mean, it works. It's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, you know, just we figure just again, just more mass appeal, you know. So you got to have that mass appeal. You got to have people that are kind of excited about those types of things, and you know, we'll just see how it works. I mean, you never know. You just kind of got to dig in and dive in and just try and make something happen. I mean, the stuff that I normally listen to is like goth, industrial, that sort of stuff, and that some of that stuff can be pretty depressing, you know, where it's like, you know, it's like grinding.
I gotta pause you. I gotta pause you right there. Like, I mean, you know, you and I've talked. I got a sense of you guys, but I never pictured you for a goth guy. Now, I want to tell you, I dropped out of school in grade 10 to a tour with my goth band, like forever ago.
Really?
So yeah, I'm. Yeah, and in fact, we had, you know, I played with Skinny Puppy way back in the day. If you know them.
Yeah, dude, that Skinny Puppy's my favorite band. I've seen them maybe 7 times, 8 times, you know.
No,
I mean, they're my absolute favorite.
Well, number one. Okay, see, sometimes I get a sense even through YouTube. There's guys that's like, I want to get to know this guy better. But yeah, I've played with Skinny Puppy a bunch of times.
Wow.
Dwayne Gettle and I grew up in the same town. He's about probably 10 years older than me. And his little sister was my first keyboard player. So,
oh wow, man, that is crazy. I mean, and let's just say rest in peace, Dwayne. I mean, he was an amazing keyboardist and electronic musician, and you know, it's really a shame that he died. But I mean, the band does continue on, which is, you know, still super exciting.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow, small world, huh?
I know, man. It's like that's. I mean, that is the stuff that really gets me moving. You know, like I grew up in Florida. There's not a lot of culture in Florida. Florida is kind of its own place. And, you know, the first thing, you know, mainly I went to a lot of schools that were about 50-50 black and white. So you grew up listening to either country or hip hop and rap, you know. So it's like I always kind of gravitated towards hip hop and rap. I like the collage of sounds and stuff like that. And, you know, my family up in Tennessee, they're all country. So, you know, I got that side too. But so the collage and the soundscapes and meshing things together, you know. So the first time I really started hearing stuff like industrial, it was like that was my thing, you know. That was my jam. I really enjoyed that, you know.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, you go ahead. Yeah. Whatever.
I was just going. Oh no, it's great. I was just wanting to say hello to the chat. You know, like we just started talking and everything, and we forgot about the chat. Let's go ahead and say hello to it. We got Black Star out there. That's my wife. She's dropping links and stuff in the chat. So thank you.
Hey,
really appreciate it. We got El Gargoyle. Hell, how's it going? We got Burst Films. Skinny Puppy is Skit's favorite band. That's right, man. Skinny Puppy right there.
Wow.
You know. Yeah, I actually contacted Kevin Key to try and get music for my campaign. You know, I was just like, dude, man, I'd love to, and I just never heard anything in response. You know, like it just nothing ever came through. You know, it would have been awesome to get some stuff, but I'm sure they're like he's more worried about dealing with tens and twenties of thousands of the dollars, not like 500 or something, or whatever he would ask me to pay. So
yeah, well, that's interesting. I mean, I've got no pull. I haven't talked to those guys for 20 plus years.
Yeah,
but I mean, I did a video. I took one of my early shows and put it up, and I got a call from Marilyn Manson about I don't know, just like 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow.
So I might be able to pull up. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, here the person that I would really like to get, who, in my opinion, is real. I mean, I love Skinny Puppy and everything, but the people that you would probably really want to find to do some interesting sounds and stuff for you would obviously be Dave Ogilvy, who used to do all the background stuff for Skinny Puppy. I mean, that right there, he would, he made the sound of Skinny Puppy, in my opinion, because then after he did Skinny Puppy, he took it to people like Marilyn Manson and Nine Inch Nails and stuff like that, and gave them that sound that was always like a Skinny Puppy sound,
Yeah.
And also Chris Brenna of Nine Inch Nails. I mean, in my opinion, when Tweaker left Nine Inch Nails, Nine Inch Nails ceased to be Nine Inch Nails, in my opinion. It just didn't have the sound and the grit and the stuff that he gave it, in my opinion. I think he took it and that was the sound, and now it's Trent Reznor trying to do the sound, Yeah. But that's just my opinion, whatever.
Wow. Cool. That's yeah, people, man, never cease to amaze me when you like meet new people from crazy places, what they're because I mean, like you, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, which was like northern Alberta, Canada.
Okay, yeah.
But I was just basically next door to Vancouver.
Yeah.
And, so Gettle was from, my same hometown. I didn't meet him through that, but it was sort of through, they were one of the first people on that label. Was it Network Records, I think?
Oh yeah, Network. Yep.
They just toured, and then I was on a bit of the touring circuit too. This is in like junior high school, grade 9, grade 10. And, there weren't that many.
So what was the name of your band? I mean, at least get that out there. Come on, man. Let's pimp this. What was it?
Well, hey, I mean, it's been out of service for a long time. We were called the Necktie Party. And,
Necktie Party.
We had a college hit. In fact, I think we scored #1 in Quebec, Montreal, Quebec radio, the college station, with a song called Buried Alive. Huh. And in fact, if you want to do this, I could, if I can find you the link while we're chatting, you might get a kick out of me with like, braces and like, 100 pounds.
Well, here's the thing though. Would it get our channel struck? That's the big thing, is it,
No, man, it's I put it up ages ago and hit about I think about 12,000 views almost immediately.
Okay.
That was because Marilyn Manson spotted it, I guess. And
if put it in the private chat, we'll pull it up.
That'd be funny. That's what I'm here for, but we're here to just have fun. So
exactly, man. This in my opinion is like super exciting, and this is the type of stuff that I really like,
Okay. Yeah, keep going. Let me just let me find myself here. It's like young me YouTube.
Looks like so. Black Star and me, we watch a TV series from Canada. It's called Trailer Park Boys. Are you familiar with it?
Just a bit. I don't watch a ton of TV, but yeah, that stuff's funny, man. It's good.
I didn't own a TV until my wife and I got married. I haven't had a TV since I was a kid. Okay, and I'm in my 40s now, and I'm not a TV person, but I download stuff from time to time, and Trailer Park Boys was just one of those things that connected with me, and I just loved it. I mean, it's hilarious, and she had just put that up there. She was like, grade 10 Trailer Park Boys. That was one of the things that one of the characters was always trying to get. He's trying to get his grade 10.
Yep.
So that's so awesome. I mean, that is so cool. And also a little thing, Todd McFarlane's favorite TV series is Trailer Park Boys.
I didn't know that.
I worked for him for a little while, and that was something that we had in common. So
no way.
Cool.
See, this whole weird, convoluted, serendipitous thing. Todd McFarlane is he was born about a minute from where my two boys were, about a minute from where I'm sitting right now, actually.
Nice.
Again, it's a northern, well, like, Calgary, Canada. That's where that dude hails from. So I love his stuff. I've got a bunch of, I've got the James Hetfield Metallica figure on my my fireplace right now.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I worked on the toy line, doing some concept stuff and also package design mainly. So
Nice.
yeah, I was there for about 2 years. It was fun. Super nice guy. Just a lot. He always brought a lot of people in the office that were really talented and interesting. So it's like, it's just one of those places that I worked at for a short amount of time, but I really liked the experience and all the people. And he's super nice to his employees. Like one of the big things for him was insurance. He didn't want anyone to have to pay for health insurance. So he paid for everyone's health insurance 100%. No co-pays, no percentages, nothing.
Wow.
And
what town was that in? Was that
that's in Phoenix? I lived in Phoenix, but the office was in Tempe, Arizona.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just had to say thanks out there to Mandible Smasher. You don't look a day over 39 and a half. I appreciate it.
Say so. That's good.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So did you put that link in the private chat? There it is.
I did.
All right.
Hey, I'm not here to hustle. I just thought it's interesting. So I'm the guy on guitar with the big black hair.
Okay, I'm going to let it load in here before I actually play it because our internet's a little slow. So let's just see what happens.
Yeah, let's see.
And I'll probably have to reshare my link so I get the sound up.
Yeah, you got to do the Chrome tab with the share audio thingy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but that's just one of the things that it is. It's like, here we are. Well, I got to tell you, this thing does not want to go. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me go ahead and do this here. And stop screen. Let me reshare. Chrome tab. Necktie Party. There's a Frontline Assembly song that was called Colombian Necktie.
Interesting.
Big fan of Frontline Assembly too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
All right. So here it is. Let's go ahead and play it. Nice.
Yeah, I'm on guitar. I wrote this song, by the way, so we're not going to get in trouble.
Nice. Oh, it's awesome.
Sure. Here comes the chorus. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's what I spent my my teenage years doing.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, so yeah, that's what I spent my teenage years doing. Was
Dude, that was fantastic, man. I mean, that's exactly the type of music that I'm into. I mean, that's right in there. I love that sort of stuff. So, man, that's great.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, like mid '80s, like goth wasn't really a word. Like we call ourselves death punks.
Yeah, exactly. There's what was some of the other stuff? I mean, it was post-punk. That was a lot of the stuff. It was post-punk. I guess that's what Susie and the Banshees, they considered themselves post-punk. But they are also there at the punk time. So, but yeah, I mean, that whole time period, there's a lot of different stuff. And every now and then I go on this tirade where I'm actually trying to find stuff from that time period. And it's just like, oh, here's something I never heard. Here's something I never heard. I mean, I find stuff all the time. There's just a ton of stuff. And now I'm going to add yours to it. Now, is there a place where people can still go buy your album?
You know what?
Have y'all put it up digitally somewhere?
I did clip that. I clipped that same recording and painted. I did a cover of our singer Jeff, and he passed away at Christmas a few years ago. Again, heroin. It happens with that scene of people. So you know what? I'm not sure what it's under, but if you go to Spotify, I believe Necktie Party. Oh, you know what? Yeah, Necktie Party Buried Alive is on Spotify and the Apple Store. So
okay, cool. Yeah, so everyone out there, if you're watching, if you're interested in this sort of stuff, I mean, go take a look at that. I mean, that is so cool, you know. Okay. It's awesome. I mean, I love that sort of stuff. I mean, that's right. That's my scene, you know. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that once you start getting older, you just start getting tired all the time. You know, the older you get, the more tired you get, the more lazier you get. I think sometimes it's like I just don't want to dress in that sort of way. But both me and my wife were big into the goth scene. Matter of fact, she had shared something on her Twitter just the other day where they did an interview with her in one of the goth magazines. I can't remember the name of the magazine. Baby, what's the name of that magazine? Never mind. But anyway, you can go over there to Karshina's Twitter page and check out that interview that was done with her, and I can't remember the name of the magazine. It's one of those names where it's like, oh, you know, gotta remember it. It's crazy.
Okay,
but,
yeah, I'll check it out on the Twitter. That sounds cool. And again, I wouldn't have guessed because everybody's got their biases, and you guys have your Southern accents. You know, I wouldn't think goth. You know. But,
well, you know, the funny thing, you mentioned Marilyn Manson. I saw Marilyn Manson in Florida because that's where he's from. Back when he was Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids, and it was in this just crappy bar in Holly Hill, Florida.
Yep.
And shout out to all the Holly Hill people. You know who you are. Yeah, and it was like maybe 25, 30 people there. And it was just terrible, you know, like he had a drum machine for the drums, and it was just kind of rough and raw, you know. I mean, it was fun, but I mean, I didn't think that he'd blow up to be what he is to, you know, what he ended up being. You know, that's just incredible where he ended up at. But yeah, saw him back in the day, you know, just one of them bands that you see.
Do you know what he did? Was and again, I still play, I mean, you know, very part-time, but as a guitar player. But the Beautiful People, that guitar riff was one of the best.
Yeah,
that's going to go down in the top 100 like ever.
Yeah, it's just one of those that you get into and you can just get moving with. You know, it's one of those memorable things where every time you hear it, you know exactly where it's from. You know.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. It's fantastic. I wanted to put this up here. We got a Mandible Smash Live back. Skits 3-book journey, July 2nd. This is one I'm most anxious for. First time I heard of doing a variant story. Art looks amazing. Hey, thanks, man. We really appreciate that. And go check out. Hey, you know, this is a good time to start talking about this. Let's talk about Sins of the Fae. Let's roll out of that for a second and roll into Sins of the Fae. So let me just pop it up here. Let me. I'm gonna have to do this thing again. Stop screen and reshare it. Oh man. But all right, there we go. Sins of the Fae. Let's just play the video and then we'll start talking about it. How's that?
Go for it. Yeah. Nice. There you go. Now that one's better with we made that it's a 38-second teaser and the audio really feels it. But
hold on a sec. I'm being told that there was no audio for that, and I think people really need to listen to the audio, because the audio on that is fantastic, because that's exactly what you start going into. How about we play that again?
Yeah, if you want to do it with audio.
Yeah, let's play it again.
There you go.
There you go. I mean, that's got some really good sound. Now, how did that sound come about? Did you make that, or where did that come from?
Yeah, so I made that. Now I bought, didn't steal, but there's basically I stitched together a number of tunes, and you know, I sort of wanted a cinematic feel. That was sort of done over the course of a week and a bit. And like my background, like, you know, if we get to that, great. If we don't, but I did basically classic advertising agency for a long time, so I've always been an illustrator, and I've, you know, drawn things, storyboarded things, and I've only got back into comics in less than the last 2 years. But doing TV commercials and audio is, you know, that's my thing. That pays my, you know, that pays my bills. So
nice. Yeah, I mean, the book itself just looks really, really good, and the music is definitely, like, in my opinion, music makes everything, you know. And the fact that you actually put some, you know, did your own music for it, and it obviously sounds clean and just nice, you know. It doesn't sound like it's been clipped from anywhere else, you know. Like, I mean, a lot of people have to use, you know, the freebie stuff out there, and a lot of it gets replayed, and you hear it from other places and stuff like that. But that was really good, man. I really enjoyed that.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we you know, we're about a week behind you guys, or even a little bit less. So we're 17 days. We haven't done our marketing push yet, which is kind of nuts, but we're learning on the job.
Okay.
So we're going to start to blitz with new art starting tomorrow morning, probably. I've got a panel coming in tonight from our artist. And by the way, I want to be clear, anybody listening, Sins of the Fae is a 3-person, you know, we split it all, you know, 3 ways. So Buddy Lord is a writer. He hired, you know, Joe Sanchez is the line art. And then I'm colors. And I think in a weird one for Comicsgate, I'm also the art director. So
okay,
I kind of, you know, we have these meetings, and like I'll kind of sit back and say, okay, let's do this, guys. So I'm not just, you know, sort of the hired hand. But at the same time, Joe is one of the best inkers I know. So when Joe puts in a page, I'm not going to mess around. You know, it's like, okay, you know, do it that way. Looks good to me.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple of pages I'm going to put up. I might share some here now. I'm just finishing up a painting, and we are going to start. I don't know, to really sort of hit Twitter hard as we come into the last couple of days, and see how that goes. So, yeah, how about you guys? Like, what's your strategy? You know, you're at a good spot at 12,000+.
Well, I mean, we've been, you know, trying to get people interested in it for a long time. We started maybe about August of last year, and, you know, so we spent a long time just really getting our stuff out there, getting it in front of people. We just started out with doing, you know, showing the artwork, you know, on Twitter. And then we also started doing a YouTube channel where Black Star, my wife, actually started doing review stuff, you know, and she still does that. She just did her 50th episode of Come Get Some. That's her show. So go over there and check out Black Star's show. I mean, this is a place where we do all sorts of stuff. You know, I'm doing this. She's doing Come Get Some. I'm also doing the drawing videos. I mean, basically, we're just trying to hit it and do as much as we can. You know, people out there were saying, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do, you know, so that's just one. Oh, and also, by the way, Black Star said it's Pestilent Windfolk is the name of the goth magazine she was interviewed in. It's out of LA.
Okay.
So Yeah, that was that. But you know, we just tried to hit it and do as much as we can, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know, you know. There people have what they say they do, you know. A lot of people are like, oh, just find something that you're passionate about and talk about it, you know. That's in pop culture. Well, my passionate thing isn't really all exciting, you know. It's like, okay, I'm passionate about music. I really like, you know, goth industrial music. I'm not sure there's a big scene for that anymore. I mean, the younger kids are more interested in other things. You know, what's the pop culture thing? I don't really care about any of the other pop culture stuff, you know, like movies, TV. I just don't, yeah, I like to watch a good movie, but I don't want to sit here and talk about it. You know, I just want to sit down and relax and watch it and be done with it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's tough, you know. And then once we started the campaign, we just got on as many shows as we could, you know. We didn't get on too many of the big shows. We got on RD, we got on Dan Fraga's channel, you know, and then a few of the smaller and medium-sized shows, and that was that, you know. We just been collecting emails for a long time. We had an email list. And the funny thing is when I saw your campaign jump up, Sins of the Fae, I was like, wow, this looks really, really good. But to me, you know, I felt like it came from nowhere. I was like, where did these guys come from? I haven't seen this stuff out there, you know. And it looked really good. It looked clean. It looked professional. And I was like, dang, man, these people need to be sharing some stuff for a while to get interest, you know, going. And now you tell me, were you out there doing it? Maybe I just missed you.
No, I think we're, so first of all, Buddy has, you know, it's his first book. I mean, I think, you know, he's had that in his back of his head for over 10 years, like most writers probably do. And we've been at this for over 6 months, but we've kept it pretty much under our hats. And we just launched, you know, we started to put it out maybe 3-4 months ago, where you probably became aware of it. And because I've been doing work with Ethan, I was doing work with Geeks and Gamers. So I built a Twitter audience pretty quick by being just, you know, I've done some stuff with, again, Quarter Black Garrett did his promo stuff. I did some stuff for, Robert Meyer Burnett. I think I've seen you over there before. And now we kind of took the leap. Like COVID put us right off our timing for about a month, trying to think of, you know, are people going to have money or not? And then we just sort of said, let's do it. And we almost did an all-nighter. Like I was doing the thumbnail previews for the Indiegogo at 5 something in the morning. The light was coming up. And I look back at it and say, you know, we could have done that better if we'd waited a few days. But, you know, it was time to just say, let's just jump in and let's get started. Now, this number was impossible to predict. Like, you know, I'd rather be at 48,000. But we haven't.
Wouldn't we all?
Oh, exactly, right? But we haven't actually, I haven't called any favors, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think as we head into the final week, I'm going to tag some people here and there and see what we can do. Because, I mean, the politics, man, in the last just 48 hours, even in this crazy business we're in, are nuts. And I try to stay. I stay out of it. I'm friends with everybody.
I mean, we're completely out of it. I mean, we try and just, you know, it's a business. You talk to people and you try and just be kind and you treat everyone the same no matter what. And that's just the way we see everything. You know, if you got problems, I mean, it's not here. We don't do that. So there you go.
Same here. I think some of Comicsgate is fueled by drama. I've been really staunchly, I will not touch that with a stick. No way. You know, I woke up one day to have, there's a conversation going on between Buddy and Gail Simone and me. And she's just like, you guys have really nice colors. And I was just like, well, thank you very much. Like, have an awesome weekend. I mean, boom. That's my take on that. So I don't know. And if we get to it, like the process thing, I can say that I had a marketing plan over the last 4-6 weeks of teasing out spreads, basically 2-page spreads for the book. So we're economizing there because we're doing production, and also I've got fun teasers to put out. And we had some snags in the process, so we're a bit behind, and I think we're caught up by maybe tomorrow. All of that stuff is just live and learn, you know. Like I think I was joking with you in a chat somewhere last week when I decided to send you a note, because just because you have the idea down perfectly, if you're sending it to a pencil guy who's sending it to an ink guy, then you got to lay it out. It doesn't always work. So you might have to lose a week or two, you know?
Well, how about this? We got a Mandible Smasher right here with that question. How long does it typically take to draw and ink and color a page? I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about right here. Yep. So why don't you tell him? I mean, I'll give you my take, but you go ahead and tell. You say what you got on that.
Okay. Because I work generally with, I mean, you know, anybody look me up on Twitter, see what I do. My work is half me and half collaboration, because I'm happy as a colorist. I like to paint on top of stuff, and I like to work with guys who don't mind that. But from the concept to the thumbnails to sketches, you're looking at, I like concepts fast, like squibs, thumbnails, whiteboard.
Yep.
15 minutes, man, 30 minutes. And that goes back to the art school thing.
Yep.
Pencils back maybe the next day. Articulated maybe another day. And then, hey, if you got some hustle on it, one more day. And then I like to always do colors in 2 days. So I like to go hard. I'll go 6 hours on something, but I like to sleep on it because I always see mistakes the next day. So
I think that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll tell you once you're done. Go ahead.
So I'd say if you're hustling, I'd say you can do that in 5 days in a perfect scenario. But in reality, it's probably more like 10. So, yeah.
Okay.
How about you?
So the way I'm in a little different situation. I do everything from start to finish when it comes to the visuals. So for me, it generally takes me 2 days. Like I'll, thumb, sketch, draw it in 1 day, maybe a little more than a day, and then I'll do the colors the next day. So
yeah,
that's me. 2 days. If it's more than 2 days, then there should be a serious reason why I'm doing that. It might be like a complicated page or something like that, but no, it should. I say 2 days and I'm done. I need to move on. I need it to be exciting. Just roll with it and keep going. So that's just me.
See, that's really interesting to me because like I've got my workflow is different, and I move from. I've got 2 workstations and then an iPad, and I get bored. At some point, I can only go for so long before I stop, get on Twitter, go back to work. So on Sins right now, I've got a 2-page spread I'm anticipating, and I've done color preliminaries for it. I've got a new cover, and I've got I guess it's another 2-page spread for a video that's coming up before next weekend. So I've got 3 pieces on the go. So for me to kind of break those up over time, say inside of a week, I find I don't get bored, and I think it keeps me fresher, Yeah. One is, one's mouse in Photoshop. One is oil paint in Procreate.
Okay.
But
okay, so you said you had an illustration background. Okay, that's actually my background too. Well, before I went to college, it was Renaissance style painting and sculpture. That was my background. Then I went to college to do illustration and design. So even when I was in the illustration classes, they would teach you, it's like, hey, you get paid for how much you can produce. There's a certain balance where it's like you got to produce a certain amount and get a certain quality. There's that happy balance there. Okay. And so my teachers would teach me, it's like, if you're going to do, say you're getting paid $500 to $1,000 a piece. Okay. Yeah. You need to be able to knock that out in a day. If you can't do it in a day, you're doing it wrong. Because even though you sit there and you think, okay, $500, $1,000, that's a good pay for one piece. Plus you get to own the original artwork that you can sell and stuff like that. But, as a starting illustrator, let's say this is the type of prices as a starting illustrator. And they were like, but there's all sorts of other costs. There's days when you're not going to have any work. There's all your, working from home. You got to pay taxes on it. There's all these things. And it's like, if you can't do $1,000 worth of work in a day, then you're doing it wrong. That's basically what they taught us.
Yeah, that's about right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, that's sort of the trick, huh? Is especially when you're freelancing, every day that you work is a day you're not promoting or marketing, right? So,
sure.
You have those phases, and I'm sure you've done it too, where you get the best gig in the world. It's like, oh man, I'm covered for like 2 solid months here.
Yeah.
I'm busy as heck. And then when you're finished it, you realize that you haven't talked to anybody for 8 weeks, you know? It's like, okay, you know, now what, right? And you're into your savings, and yeah, that's not easy.
So I worked on Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2. And what I was commissioned to do was all the illustrations for the graphic interface, you know, the user interface on the video game. And it's basically all these little itty bitty circles that were 300 by 300 pixels.
Yep.
So I did them, I think, triple size, and I had to do like 300 and something of them. And I had like a month to do them, maybe 3 weeks or something like that. Yeah. So I was knocking out like 7 to 10 of them a day. Yeah. And it's exactly what you said. It was just like I was sitting there working on those all day, every day. It was just way too much work to be able to do anything but eat ramen noodles and maybe a burger from time to time. So,
dude, aren't those the funniest jobs to get? You know, it's like it's a AAA title, and you can tell your mom about it, and everybody's just like, no way, you're working on Star Wars. It's like, yeah, but I'm doing icons for the app. So yeah, I've done a bunch of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really something that's really exciting, in my opinion. You know, the illustration. The problem I see, though, and school didn't really prepare you for this, is that especially when I was graduating in 2000, illustration as a serious job opportunity and career was kind of dying. You know, most people were going into some sort of graphic design, and you had to be a graphic design and an illustrator. So they really kind of pushed you to learn that sort of thing, where it's like, okay, if you're going to be an illustrator, you also need to be a graphic designer so you can work every day, because there's not a lot of illustration jobs out there. So that's kind of the mentality that I went into. So as soon as I got to where, you know, I was working my first job, I was basically just a graphic designer, you know. Yep. And every now and then I'd pull out the illustration tools to actually make something a little more exciting. Now, for me, the first job I ever had where I was able to do something really exciting, use my illustration skills, was actually Todd McFarlane. You know, working for him doing the package design. I mean, it was free and open. You know, he was old school. He wanted to see a thumbnail, you know, a quick sketch of what you were planning to do for the packaging. That was the first time I ever had to do that. You know, most places were just like, give me a design and I want it now within a half hour. You know, it's like he was like, you can't do anything until I see your sketches and ideas. So we put that in. So that was really exciting. Now, that, in my opinion, really started to make me start to get more into illustration, more into that sort of thing. And it also made me start looking at comics a little more, because I was out of it for a while. I stopped really collecting comics maybe like 94, 95. And, you know, there was a couple of illustrators that I followed and I kept up with, you know, a couple of comic book artists, but I was just done and out of it because I didn't really care for any of the stories anymore. I mean, you can only read Spider-Man so many times where you're just like, you know, and at that time, you know, they had taken Spider-Man, who was married and, you know, a certain age, and he was back in high school all of a sudden, you know, and I was like, what's going on, you know? It's like, who cares about that sort of thing, you know? But
yeah, I left around the same time too. Like I left at about probably 90, 93, 94. You know, the last full run I bought was Lobo. It caught my eye, and I've got all of it still, just because the artist still, you know, to this day, it's bananas.
Yeah. And was that the who was the artist on that series at the time?
You know what? I haven't even dug him out of a box in the last decade or more. I couldn't tell you. Just it was it was great. Yeah, I mean, I remember, you know, I Sharpie markered a really careful. I took hours on it. I did Lobo on my left shoulder, and freaked my girlfriend out because she thought it was real, because, you know, it was. So I was a big Lobo fan, and then until I moved to San Diego, I didn't look at comics very seriously for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about Sins of the Fae. I mean, you were talking about it. You do the coloring, and now Are you far enough along in your skills that you would want to draw a book, or are you just happy doing coloring right now?
That's a good question. I want to show you what I've got on my desk, you know, when we get to it.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of commissions lately where, you know, doing storyboards for television for me has been really loose.
Okay.
And I've had some inquiries, people saying, "Hey, do you want to do a book for me?" And I'm happy to do pinups anytime. I've got a lot of portrait commissions on the go right now. I've probably done a half dozen in the last, you know, as many months. Yeah. So yes, but you know, I look at the way Joe can translate a you know, a brief script into a page in panels, and I'm going to start slow on that because it's not really what I'm aspiring to. Sorry to give you the long answer. So I'd say so. And I mean, you know, we've been on a lot of shows, and people can't really distinguish because, you know, I kind of blur the line. Like, to say I'm heavy-handed with color would be an understatement. Like, you know, I like to dodge out lines. I like to do holds wherever I want to.
Sure.
And Joe's been fantastic to work with because, you know, he saw this. It's like, dude, my background's gone, my this is that, whatever, but I love it.
So, yeah, and that's something that you really need to work with someone for a particular amount of time so that y'all can get in sync with one another. Because I do it with my, you know, since I'm drawing and coloring, it's like I'm going, okay, here's the look I'm going for. I know I don't need so much here and so much there. So let me leave a little bit out here so I can do a little extra in coloring. But then on the other hand, I might say, okay, I want to do more on the page and less in coloring on this particular stuff. You know, so I definitely understand that. But if you were working with someone else, that would be really tough to try and get into that mode, you know?
Well, it's been great people. I mean, I'll tell you what, if I can share my screen, I'll give you,
sure.
There's a counterpart screen to this, or sorry, counterpart cover. And it looks like we're going to go to, when we're finished here, we'll probably go to a Kickstarter, do it again for In Demand.
Okay.
So I'm doing a painting right now. So that was Nikki, the one you were just looking at.
Okay.
So designed by me, inked by Joe, and then back to me for color art direction.
Okay.
And I was up most of last night. I'm going to try and have this guy done for, you know, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's my plan. And there you go. That's shared.
All right. Let me add this to the stream there.
So Nikki is our protagonist. She's the nice lady. She's, you know, her 2 daughters. There's a long story. Her nemesis. This is Rowena. Rowena Piper Pennington. This is our Darth Vader. Because Joe's doing sequentials. This is my painting. So
okay, so is that the actual character Rowena, like from the old fantasy art and stuff from the, I think, 70s, maybe 80s? The Rowena books. Are you familiar with the Rowena books?
I'm not actually. No, just
is it?
No, Buddy just said that's her name. So I got the brief and I got to work. So here she is. I just finished her face up. This is my painting. And
it looks like there's a lot of layers in this. Is it very layer oriented?
Yeah, I'm a very much I like all the different layers and exclusions and hard lights and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, so you're using Photoshop the way it was meant to be used, as like kind of using all the filters and the layers and stuff to achieve your effects.
I think so. Yeah, I like the freedom. Now, I think my strong suit is I'm acrylic on canvas. That's my main, you know, I've done that for a lot of commissions for corporate things over the last 2 decades even. And I'm comfortable with that. But when I sort of switch gears into something like this, I like being able to sort of play with, you know, tinting things. I mean, I think I'm just about done here. I was trying to get the steam coming off the ground here, but you can still see the heel in the back because it's sexy. Yeah. And the last thing I was doing before I took a nap actually was getting the blood splatters to work. But yeah, I do keep these things all individual, you know?
Okay. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me, because I think I use Photoshop as maybe a traditional painter would. And I do maybe a couple different layers, but mainly I just do everything on one layer because I paint traditionally like you would, you know, where it's like, okay, I need a little this, a little that. I go back over it. you know, and I'm not worried about the lines and the shapes and stuff like that. I do, if anyone is familiar with concept art painting, like for the TV and movie and video game industry, I paint like that, where it's just like all on one layer, you know, and it's like, I just roll with it, you know, because I want it to have that painterly look, you know, so.
Absolutely. I'm totally with you. And that's what I mentioned before about when I was saying about changing gears. I think I have it open. Is the other promo piece that I need to get done in the next day or two here is we've got, it's a tree that's in Charleston. It's the angel oak. And it's like a 6-foot tall oak tree. And it's the spiritual sort of hub of this whole book. Okay. And it was described to me. And it's like, hey, you know, all the plants in the foreground move out of the way. And then a path sort of is revealed for Nikki. And we've got these creatures we created called the Pharax. And they're giant Komodo dragons. I was like, well, hey, let's put some baby ones on the side of the path. So for this piece, I'm just going to zoom out. This is a detail. I'm not quite done yet. This is just oil. iPad oil. Yep. So here's these dudes. No layers. I'm just painting baby lizards.
Now, when you start your paintings, do you do it in black and white, or you know, just grays and stuff like a traditional underpainting, or do you just go straight in with color?
I'm always straight in with color.
Okay.
So I usually do a pretty tight pencil, and I'll do that in a sketchbook, and I'll take a picture with my iPhone.
Okay.
And I might do it in Clip Studio or Procreate.
All right.
And then, you know, it's funny because I put this out there on Sunday morning. It had, you know, people liked it. Buddy sent me a really nice note that had swear words in it as a positive way. And because of my art background, I'm really, you know, impressionist stuff. So Monet and Manet are where I'm really coming at stuff from. And I think that shows, you know?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Degas and Mary Cassatt. Those were my two favorites from the time period.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, right there, I know it's just comic books, but that to me is a great looking, I wish I did this, you know, 8 by 10 feet on canvas, you know, with oil paint, but maybe in the future, we'll see.
Now, do you feel like the things that you learned in school, to kind of bring it back to some school ideas, do you feel like the stuff that you learned in school is pertinent to what you're doing right now?
That's a really good question. That's a yes and no, I think.
Okay.
By the time you've got people being instructors, they're kind of, they're a bit lazy. I mean, there's probably better people to be mentoring you, you know? Like,
sure.
You know, to have a McFarland like in the office, that's amazing. But,
yeah, his office was just, I mean, literally I could stand up at my desk and, you know, look right over to his office. So it was cool. I always played around with him, though. We were always playing jokes on each other. You know, he was, he's a different person. Like, I never could get him really to laugh. So my goal was to make him laugh as much as possible, you know, but I don't know, my jokes being from the South or something maybe just didn't make him stick too much, but I always tried to make him laugh. Like, I'd have people in the office in meetings like busting up laughing, but he wouldn't budge. So I don't know. So, but the funny thing is like, that's how it was when I worked for him. When I didn't work for him, he'd just bust up and crack all the time. You know, hey Mike, what's going on? And I'm like, dude, why weren't you like this when I worked for you, man?
Wow. Yeah. No, it's I think the real answer to your question, and I think what I sent you that DM about, was the one thing that school got me was a really, really good sense of, well, work ethic, obviously. Sounds kind of cheesy. But process. Because, I mean, I can communicate. Sure. I can work with anybody. And, you know, I prefer to do stuff, you know, get on StreamYard, get on Skype, and be like, hey, man, you know, I'll send you some thumbs, some squibs, whatever. Give me back some pencils. Sure. And there's a process to it. And not to get too serious, but I've worked with a bunch of, you know, some of the good people around here. Some people have thick skins, and some people are, they don't at all, you know? So if you critique me and say, I mean, if I was working with you and I'm getting to know you a little bit, and you're like, yeah, man, your scale is off and I hate that color and whatever, I wouldn't blink. Like, I wouldn't feel a thing. I'm like, okay, cool. What can I do? You know, give me a call. What can we do here to fix it? And I worked with a couple of people who, you know, they'll ghost you for a couple of days and they'll come back and they'll be pouty, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think if nothing else, like, you know, 4 years of getting a degree in this stuff was just absolutely being bulletproof, you know? How about you?
Well, the thing is, like, you know, you talk about that, you know, when I was in school, we would do, you know, you do critiques, you know, everyone puts their work up on a board, you critique, right?
Yep.
Now, I was always that person that was like, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking because that's the idea, right? I was really bad at holding back or saying things politely.
Yep.
So I would just be like, dude, you only worked like an hour on this. It was an 8-hour project. And they'd be like, oh my God, you know, they'd get all mad. I was that person that made everyone mad because here's the thing, like, I was there, I had no money, and I was going to get everything I could out of it. And I was like, I want you to tear me apart. But everyone else was afraid to tear each other apart. So I was like, listen, you know, I need to get more out of this. I'm going to tear you apart. You need to tear me apart too. And that's just how I went into it. You know, after a few semesters, I was like, heck with this. You know, I expected when I got to art college that everyone would be better than me. That's what I expected. You know,
Yeah.
I thought everyone was going to be amazing. Everyone's going to be better than me. So I need to bring my A game and be as best as I could. And then when I got there, I realized that a lot of people, some people didn't even really have art classes before. They just had the money to go and they went, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
And I mean, that's fine, but you know, it's like put forth an effort, you know, they were partying on the weekends and not working, you know. It was just like, I'm here to work and to learn something, you know. So
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, when I'm sitting there showing some, you know, some sketches to Todd McFarlane, I'm like, hey, what do you think? He'd be like, you know, I don't know, you know, do this, do that. It looks good, you know. I mean, you just got to be able to take it, you know. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
And even if it's perfect, it's not perfect for the person who's actually the project is going to. It may be perfect. I mean, literally perfect, but that's not what they're looking for. You know, they're looking for something else and they don't understand what you're trying to put forth into it. And that's something that sometimes you need to portray to people as well here.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, I mean, you know, you have a sloppy or organic style.
Yeah.
Not exactly the right words, but you know, you get what I mean.
I'm sloppy.
You know, and I do that too. Like, you know, like I did at a snowboard company for a while. So I've cut a lot of silk screens. I've had guys working for me. And there's a thing called, you know, loose register as a term, like old punk rock, you know, gig posters and stuff where things slip.
Yeah.
And you wind up with that halo on the side. So even on something like, you know, this is our main cover. And there's a couple places where my layer slipped and it gives a release on the left to the right.
Yeah.
And I showed it to Buddy, and you know, the first couple times I did it, he's like, well, what's going on here? Like, you know, these colors aren't right. Or, you know, the lines are kind of messed up. I'm like, that's it was an organic. It was like a slip of the hand, you know, like my wrist, my tablet. I'm like, I like it. It's got energy. So, yeah, all the, you know, sort of embracing all those, the sort of the little happy accidents, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, usually serendipitous stuff that happens that excites the artist because they're always looking for something new and off the wall and just a little different to make them excited inside is usually the stuff that a client will point out as an error. So that, unless they have some sort of trained eye, usually, in my experience, art directors are people that are put there because they're good managers, not necessarily because they have a good eye.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
And because artists are notorious for being poor managers. I mean, they're just poor managed. They have poor management skills. That because their minds are in a different place and they're not really thinking about those types of things. They're thinking about something else. So usually I would bring something to an art director and they'd be like, what's this? And then you have to kind of be like, well, you know, we keep doing things this way. I wanted to maybe twist it a little bit, and I had this little happy accident here, and I thought that it might propel us in a direction that might be more exciting if we try this. And then they're usually like, no, I just want what we normally have. And I said, okay. You know.
Yeah, that's so fun. So, does someone here want to contact my agent?
Well, this is Verse Films. They do the video and audio stuff for our things. My wife, that's her company that she owns, and so someone over there is asking, so is Xeviuss commission based or does he have an agent?
Are you
allowed to answer that?
Oh yeah, say hi on Twitter. I'm Xeviuss, and these guys both know me. Yeah, I do commissions. That's what I do. I should say I'm full time. I haven't had a job since I was about 19, doing construction. So I've been doing art full time, 18 hours a day, every day. So yeah, I pay the bills drawing silly comic book stuff.
So we got a really interesting question here. Let's try and roll into this here. Mandible Smasher. From comic book artist perspective, what order would you rank characters, story, and artwork as most important to you in the comic book development process? Well, I mean, there's all important stuff, but at the end of the day, I would say like it's got to be visually interesting or it's not going to sell.
Yep.
And you can take from that whatever you will, and it's the other stuff maybe that keeps people around after you catch them with the eye.
Yeah, that's a really nuanced, really interesting question.
Yeah.
Because, like again, Buddy and I work hours a day on the phone, and we don't agree on a whole bunch of things in terms of like strategy, marketing, whatever. And I think that's great. It's really dynamic. I love Cyberfrog. It's a robot frog from space who kills wasps.
Yeah, it's fun. You know?
And that's all you need to know. And it's executed really well. Like fantastic lines, beautiful colors. That's it. So I don't really know that the story matters. Now, on a book like Sins of the Fae, this is an incredibly complicated world with a bunch of characters and all these things. And it matters. So then the flow and the storytelling has to come across always. And I'm really picky about the way the art comes across. I don't know. I think is it case by case, do you think, man?
Possibly. I'm just gonna go by what I originally said. It's like it's got to be visually interesting. If it makes you pick it up off, if you're in a comic book shop and there's all them comics there, and you pick up that book because it's interesting and it caught your eye.
Yep.
You've done about 80-90% of the job. That's what I think, because you got it once you get it in your hands. Then you start flipping through it and you decide whether or not you're going to buy it. But until you get it in your hands, you're probably never going to look at it ever again, in my opinion.
I think you're totally right. Yeah, it's. I mean, that's why I'm the new kid here. I'm very aware of that, even though I'm older than half of you guys. I came here to say I want to do covers because I want to make your book look good. So I'm logo guy, cover guy, and no matter how good the inside is, if they don't pick it up or if they don't buy it, especially when you're talking crowdfunding, it doesn't matter what you do. Not a whit, be good.
Well, here's something right here. I thought this is interesting. Black Star says, depends on the book. If it's Winnie the Pooh, Mandible Smasher, you want to do artwork of the Baron story. Winnie the Pooh is the main character. Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about an IP, a huge IP, it's the IP that sells it initially, because you're buying Winnie the Pooh, and then everything else needs to fall in behind it. You got to have that right story, you got to have that right look, and everything. But people are buying it because of the main character, So she's definitely right there. I mean, that's one of those things where it's like depends,
Yeah, and that's I still wrestle with that because we've got so many. I think I've done 5 covers now, and they're not all they're for different things, for different places. But like minimalism is something that I studied. I love the Bauhaus design and the band.
Yes.
So are you familiar? Do you know Chip Kidd? Who that is?
No, I don't know a lot of names, to tell you the truth, of different. I'm guessing this is someone in the music industry or something.
Oh, so Chip Kidd is he got really, really famous. He designed the cover for the Michael Crichton Jurassic Park, the silhouette.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I follow him on Twitter. Only talked to him once. I'd love, I can just go to heaven after that guy follows me back. he has like the most minimal, simple, you know, it's like a silhouette of a T-Rex. You can only see half of it. The font is really basic, and it's black, red on white. That's it. But it works, and it made billions of dollars. That's the real balance, you know? So
yeah. No, I'm familiar with it now that you said that. I was like, oh yeah, okay. I don't know the name. I'm terrible at learning people's names. You know, like the ultimate stuff that I'm really interested in, I remember the names. But when it comes to other stuff that's kind of on the periphery, I'm like, okay, I'll know it once you say something. But yeah, that's some good stuff right there. Yeah, definitely.
This is awesome. I saw this, but forgive me, I saw this really small on my phone, sort of in passing. That's the way the world is. So this is you. So how did you do this one? Is this? It's on paper with what?
Okay, so going back to how we actually do things, you know, I did a video a little ways back where I actually just did thumbnails. You know, I was showing people what pages I had done, and then I showed them how I did my thumbnail process. And then the next video after that, I showed them on the computer how I took the little thumbnails in my sketchbook into, you know, sketches in the computer. And then once I get that quick sketch done in the computer, I showed them how I did it in the computer. Then I projected it out on paper, and there you go. So this is my finished drawing. This is a panel.
Yeah.
And it's not what you normally are seeing in comic books. And I definitely did that purposefully. You know, it's like I could sit here and do line drawing, you know, till the cows come home, but it's not interesting to me. And I want something that's interesting to me and it stands out. I'm not interested in doing line work like from the 90s comic book scene. That's just not what I want to do. So I did something. I was like, okay, I love concept art for video games and movies. And I like how they get the depths in the pieces. And it's all about it's not only about the character, but it's also the world in which they live in. So I was like, okay, if I did this with pencil, how would I do it? So, you know, I'd go in and I did the sketch that I transferred from the computer, you know, projecting it out on the paper. And then I just started working it from back to front, you know, just like you would a painting. You know, I worked real light in the back, and then I started moving to the foreground to where I used some of my darkest darks. And it's just sketching, you know, it's just working with pencil. There's some line work there, but there's also some shading, and I just got it to where I liked. And the thing is the way I'm going to color this, it makes sense to do it this way, not to do it traditional comic book style, because I want it to have a certain look that is more like this when it's finished, you know, because I want my book and I want my story to stand out, and I want it to be exciting for myself. So there you go.
No, I love this piece, man. I mean, you're doing all of the, and again, you're absolutely right, because like I'm dealing with line art from artists, which you have these. I mean, there's a mechanical reason I won't get into, but you know, you have to have the black plate, and you cut your film all through the 90s, up into the late 90s, actually. Whereas for me, it's like, well, we don't need that stuff, and that's why I really go. You know, I've been told kind of heavy-handed with color, because, like, you know, I've got these two, you know, these pillars at the front are the darkest. They got the fattest lines. And then it starts to break apart when you get to the horizon. It's barely even there, you know? So all of everything that's close to you feels close. I think, you know, that waving flag is the one thing that jumps out at me. So I think that's probably, I'm supposed to see that. And other than that,
I mean, it's purposeful. Awesome. It's purposeful. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I also wanted to get kind of a triangular effect going on here, where it's like, you know, you got this character here, then you got the flag, and then you got this in the background. So it kind of moves you through the panel, and then you kind of come back around because these shapes pull you back around. So you get a little bit of a circular effect going on in this. And certain panels, I want you to sit there and look at them for a little bit because of the pacing of the book. And then other panels, I want you to move past it really quick, you know?
Yep.
And then this is a page I just got done with here too. And it's pretty much done in the same fashion. And it's going to be colored real loosely, you know, the way this pencil work is done. So, yeah, you know.
That's great. So let me ask you, how do you color stuff? Do you do it on the page, or do you go digital, or have?
No, I do digital. Yeah, yeah. Totally Photoshop. I'm doing a few different styles in the book. Like I'm doing inks, and then local color type feel stuff. And then I'm also doing pencils with digital inks. And then I'm also doing concept art style where almost all of it is done in the computer painted style, you know? So, and I did that purposefully, obviously, because the books that I liked from the 90s were the stuff like Dave McKean, Kent Williams, Ashley Wood, you know, people who were making those books, whereas like there's lots of fine art type of feel to it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it just goes back to what makes me excited to do it, you know. And if this is making me excited to work on it, then I think other people will be excited too once it's actually out there in people's hands. So there you go.
Hey, I've got a controversial question for you.
Oh boy.
Oh no, well, not that controversial. So there's a traditional thing. It's called, you know what cut and grad is in coloring for comics?
No.
A lot of the stuff in CG and a lot of the mainstream stuff too is, you know, you get your pencils, whatever goes to the inker, you get the lines, and then cut and grad is done with a mouse. So where you flat it, right?
Okay.
So all the colors are put down, and those are arbitrary. Then you get your local colors straight, and then somebody clicks around on a mouse, like the final colorist, and they dodge it for highlights, they burn it for the shadows,
sure,
and they go around. And there's all kinds of people, and there's some of them are really talented. I'm not knocking it. Where it's like, and you can hear the mouse in the background as they're, you know, doing it on Twitch or YouTube, and it's like click 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 click, and they're farting around with dodge and burn tools.
Yeah. And
it's like, and they're talking through. It's like, we're gonna add a bit of warm here, a bit of cool because it's on the shadow side. And then when it's done, and it's a you know, it's a AAA, you know, comic book piece. I just think that's not okay, in my opinion, humbly. I mean, I'd rather take the thing, a photo of it, put it on my iPad, grab a stylus and just paint on it, you know, straight up. And I've always got undo, so I can be as wild as I want to.
Sure. And you can always make an extra layer and just like have a scratch layer. No big deal.
Yep. And I do that like crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, do you think we still need to have line art going forward, you know, in the next 5 or 10 years, or should that go away?
No, I don't think it should go away. I think that's where all the magic happens, to be perfectly honest with you.
Oh, sorry. When I meant line art, I meant solid blacks.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think so at all, because I don't do solid blacks.
Yeah.
You know, even when I was working at McFarlane, the book that they were, you know, on Spawn at that time, he wasn't working with ink work. Most of it was Wallace Potasio was working on it at the time. And he was just turning in pencil pages, and we were just adjusting layers on pencils and just going for it. But there is definitely a graphic look to inking and, you know, having absolute blacks that people really respond to.
Yep.
The problem is it's easier to do that graphic look than it is to do something like what I'm showing you right here as a final page piece. You know, it's easier to go in there and just do black and white art. You know, it's definitely easier, in my opinion. I don't know. I do both, so I don't know. To me, it's a lot easier to do ink and black and white stuff, and then just adjust the layers so all you have is just black and white. You know, to do stuff subtle like what I'm showing here on this page, it takes a lot more work to do all that subtlety and stuff, and it's actually going into the realm of what the colorists are doing right now. So I'll actually go into this, and I don't have to do a lot of that work and doing my shading and stuff in the coloring, because I've already done it on the page.
Yeah, this is really nice, by the way. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah, let's I'm telling you, we're just about at that time where I need to start shutting down.
For sure.
And I'm gonna show your campaign here one more time. Here, let me do this. Kind of want to go over there to that music video again.
I don't know, man. Check it out later. My guitar solo is pretty epic.
Oh, I'm definitely going to check it out, man. I mean, that's right up my alley. Why don't you give a final pitch on this right here? Tell people what to expect. Why should they buy your book, man?
Okay, why to buy Sins of the Fae? I'm not the pitch man. I'm the.
That's all right. You just became the pitch man. You better do it. Go for it.
All right. So this is written by Buddy Lord. a good friend of mine at this point, illustrated by Joe Sanchez, and other stuff by me. It is a sweeping story. It's very much, I mean, you know, it's been, I hate when I hear something like that, but it's sort of, you know, Star Wars, it's a huge universe. You've got warring families, you've got thousands of years of multiple generations of people. It's a big story. I mean, this is one chapter of one of at least a dozen books, and the art is beautiful. The letters are beautiful. I think kind of unique to comics or indie comics is we are very nearly finished everything. So you're going to get the full book with full colors. It's you know, sorry man, I haven't like live. It's
you're fine, man.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just tell people it's really, really awesome and they need to go buy it because it's awesome.
Yeah, in fact, I've got a better one. It's like, the story is amazing. Go follow Buddy on Twitter and ask him. He'll tell you about it. I'm just here to do the, I'm here to make it look cool. There
you go. Let's play the trailer one more time.
Sure.
There it is, Sins of the Fae. Hey, everyone, man, go out there and check this book out. I mean, it's really, really beautiful book. It's really rich in color. And you've been listening to me interview the colorists right here, or just talking with them, stuff like this. So, I mean, this is going to be really, really cool, man. Let's see. You know, before we take off, let's go say hey to people in the chat, too, again. Yeah. The white-haired woman looks like Ciri from The Witcher. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, not on purpose, but yep.
Yeah, and he's saying, hey, thanks for stopping by there, Eric. We really appreciate you. I think I'm saying that right. Just so everyone knows out there, I'm terrible at saying things properly. I'm from the South. I say things completely weird and different anyway, so I'm going to try and say that right. Rezakai. Purdy.
Purdy.
Dragon looks cool. Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So we appreciate everyone for stopping by. And maybe we can do this again, because I don't think we actually got into any of the stuff that we were planning on talking about before. We just kind of just started doing it freeform, and it just kind of ended up where it's at.
I know. It's a bad habit I have, man. Yeah, anytime. Let's try that again.
Oh, sweet. He said that we said it right. Like Hezekiah. Okay, Rezakai. Perfect. Fantastic. I'm glad I did that right, because I am terrible. So we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye. We're gonna play the video for Skits right quick. We're gonna pimp it. We're gonna try and sell it to you a little bit. We got this new video from Verse Films. It's really, really cool new music, new video, and everything. Go over there. Yeah, man. I mean, it's awesome. It really is. Go over there and get you that 3-book journey. What we got here is we got 3. It's Skits the Sun book 1. And there's 3 variant covers with 3 variant interior stories. I mean, how awesome is that? 3 books, 3 covers, 3 variant stories, all wrapped up, signed and numbered in a belly band, Skits band, right there for you. This is the deal of the century. I mean, how awesome is that? It's like a choose your adventure. You're getting a little something different in every book. Not only, this is how much we love our fans. Not only are we going to give them variant covers from people like Kent Williams and Patrick Reynolds, we're also going to give you a variant story inside. I mean, this is the only place where this is happening, folks. I mean, this is just awesome. So go over there. Thanks, man. We really appreciate that, man. So let's go ahead and play the trailer, and then we are out, people.
Do. coming. It's coming.
Well, I know. Look at there. I forgot to share it. I didn't share it properly.
No one's in a hurry. It's all good.
I know. I mean, what am I doing here, man? Let's just go ahead and do it properly.
We're all friends.
I know. What am I thinking? It's like, hey, look at Skits. Skits is awesome, but I ain't gonna share it with you.
You're holding your stuff, huh?
I know. I'm holding it. I'm holding it. All right, let's try this again.
You.